Welcome top news today.
Published 11:52 est, the 27th of December 2017. Updated 13:35 est, the 27th of December 2017. British MPs have torn into a former US governor for comparing Donald Trump to Sir Winston Churchill, branding the comments absurd. Mike Huckabee sent a tweet saying the great wartime leader was hated by his own party, opposition party and press just like the US leader. And he compared Barack Obama to Neville Chamberlain, who pursued a policy of appeasement with the Nazis. The politician-turned-Fox News pundit wrote Churchill was hated by his own party, opposition party, and press. Feared by King as reckless, and despised for his bluntness, but unlike Neville Chamberlain, he didn't retreat. We had a Chamberlain for 8 years in it, real Donald Trump we have a Churchill. But Mr. Huckabee's comments has sparked an angry backlash from British MPs who said that while Sir Winston helped save the world from Adolf Hitler's fascism, Mr. Trump has endorsed racists. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee has sparked a storm of criticism on Twitter after he compared Donald Trump to Sir Winston Churchill. File-pic Defense Minister Tobias Ellwood invited the Republican former governor of Arkansas to meet with Sir Nicholas Soames, a Tory MP and the wartime leader's grandson. He read on Twitter, Governor Huckabee, could I invite you to Westminster and meet my very good friend Ed Soames, who knows a thing or two about this? I know he will take you under his wing and you'll emerge much the wiser. At Gov. Mike Huckabee. The controversy comes after Mr. Trump caused an outcry in the UK after he retweeted anti-Muslim propaganda put out by the far-right group Britain First. When Theresa May condemned his retweet of the extremist video, he told the PM not to criticize him and to focus on her own country's problems with radical Islam. Defense Minister Tobias Ellwood invited the Republican former governor of Arkansas to meet with Sir Nicholas Soames, a Tory MP and the wartime leader's grandson. Former Lib Dem leader Tim Farron pointed out that Sir Winston described himself as a liberal, unlike Donald Trump. MP and former Labour leadership contender Chuka Umunna said there is a stark difference between Donald Trump and Sir Winston Churchill. Ian Austin, Labour MP for Dudley North, joined in the condemnation, writing on Twitter, and Labour MP for Leeds North West, Alex Sobel, hit out at the comparison, pointing out that Donald Trump had retweeted far-right group Britain First. Ian Austin, Labour MP for Dudley North, joined in the condemnation, writing on Twitter, Trump like Churchill. Absurd. Churchill served in army-led world to beat fascism. Chicken. Trump backs racist dodged draft with bad footma. And former Labour leadership contender Chuka Umunna said, Governor, our grandparents fought the Nazis with Winston Churchill. They knew Churchill and relayed his greatness to future generations. He was one of our greatest prime ministers. Your president in no way, shape or form comes close to being the leader that Churchill was. Former Lib Dem leader Tim Farron pointed out that Sir Winston described himself as a liberal, adding, so that's one difference. But I can't be bothered to correct the rest of this nonsense. And Labour MP for Leeds North West, Alex Sobel, said Churchill fought Nazis rather than repeated or retweeted them. Mike Huckabee sent a tweet saying the great wartime leader was hated by his own party, opposition party and press, just like the US leader pictured in Washington last week. But British MPs have hit out at the remarks, saying Sir Winston Churchill took on the far-right, whereas Mr. Trump has retweeted them online. Sir Winston Churchill ended Britain's policy of appeasement and helped defeat Hitler's Nazis. File-pic relations between Westminster and the White House have taken a battering since Mr. Trump moved into the Oval Office. Mrs. May made a big effort to reinforce the special relationship by visiting him soon after his inauguration and inviting him for a state visit to the UK, where he would be the guest of the royals. But since then, Mr. Trump has launched a series of outspoken Twitter attacks on the UK, including a high-profile spat with London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who he incorrectly claimed had told Londoners not to worry about terror attacks. His state visit has been put on ice, but the US leader is expected to come to London in February to open the new American embassy. Police are braced for what could be the country's biggest ever street protests if the president does decide to go ahead with the trip.